High roll good?
Sure.
That is not a very high roll. You got me.
I'll take the draw.
Okay. Still playing that.
That's why I don't like saying it. I don't like giving away information.
I mean, taking the draw kind of does give it away.
I know. I've been told that's how you're supposed to play it.
Right.
Still, I disagree with it.
Good luck.
You can have your chalice, nerd. I think you have to buy it.
17.
I've got these waiting dice.
Play myth realized.
Yep.
Alright, you got it. Likewise.
Right. There were certainly lots of bad Jeskai white enchantments.
That is true. But
maybe only one of them had its own deck.
That block had quite a few unique Jeskai enchantments. I mean, this card is really cool flavor-wise. It's it's like a monk that's learning things, and then he comes to life and attacks your opponent.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Now we can't forget about the best white Jeskai enchantment back then, and that was Jeskai Ascendancy.
Right, of course.
That was a good one.
That card was actually played, and I think it's still played in Modern sometimes.
Yeah, that card,
some combo decks.
That card broke Modern in conjunction with Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time.
Oh yes, that's true.
Yeah, that actually warranted a banning. Though I think that was partially Storm's fault, not just Jeskai Ascendancy's fault.
Yeah, those draw threes for 1 mana can be pretty overpowered. So Jason here on turn 2 is going to go with a Tarmogoyf. It's currently a 2/3.
Yeah, so Tarmogoyf is a big threat here, and we don't know that Luke has any answers to it, right? I mean,
that's true. Yeah, I mean he probably has path. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jason,
we do know why. So you play white. We see this myth realize here, but I imagine you have to include path if you're playing white and such.
Well, sure, but we know that Jason took Luke's smallpox, so
that's true.
This could be a problem for Luke if he doesn't find something.
That's an interesting synergy with myth realize too, since smallpox makes each creature each player sacrifice a creature. Myth realize is not technically a creature, so you can kind of get around it.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. That's probably why he's playing it. I can't think of too many other reasons to play it, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So here Luke is going to go with Shrieking Affliction. This triggers the Myth Realized. And he's going to make Jason discard a card with Raven's Crime, which triggers Myth Realized again. And it looks like the turn is going to be passed back to Jason. So Jason on turn 3. I do think Jason has one form of Liliana in his hand, which he could play here if he wants. Liliana, I think he has Liliana the Last Hope. Liliana the Veil, of course, not great against your opponent's deck that's trying to make you discard so that you take damage, because Liliana the Veil is going to make you discard your cards regardless if your opponent is, and that could be a liability in this matchup.
Of course, I'm not sure what what good Liliana Last Hope does for you here. I mean, I suppose you can get that creature back, but you don't really have any targets for the +1.
Yeah, the +1. She's just going to be taken up.
Yeah, and these rack games typically don't go quite long enough to have that ult become relevant, Liliana's ultimate, because either you're killing the rack player or they're going to kill you in short order with a Shrieking Affliction. So but we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, Jason reading Myth Realized here. It is an interesting card. So I think for 1 mana you can animate it to become an XX, where X is the number of counters on it. And then you can also pay 3 to just put an extra counter on it. So even if you're not casting spells, you can still do something with your mana there.
Yeah, and that's probably pretty relevant given that I don't think Luke's deck uses a lot of its mana all the time.
Right. I mean, once you have no cards in hand, you just kind of...
Yeah, you can sit there and pump that guy, and who knows, maybe we could see this Myth Realized get even bigger than the Death Shadow.
Yeah, that's true. It is possible.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a clever, a pun here that involves myths and death, but it's not coming to me. So, but if anyone thinks of one, let us know in chat.
All right, so we do see Jason go with Liliana, the Last Hope here. He's going to -2, but unfortunately he mills 2 Mishra's Baubles, which does not let him get anything back. It does help him get to Delirium, but other than that...
Yeah, like we said earlier, that Liliana Last Hope is pretty dead here. It would have been nice to see a creature instead of those baubles, but yeah, not doing much.
And Luke hits his 3rd land. So a lot of the plays from this A-Rack deck are very, very low on mana, which is why he's able to play cards like Smallpox, which make you sacrifice a land, because he's not too concerned about how much mana he has. He's going to retrace Raven's Crime here by discarding a land. This would cause Jason to discard a card, and triggers Myth Realized. So Jason with only 2 cards in hand, he's going to have to choose carefully here which one to discard. Okay. So currently there's some confusion on whether or not retracing Raven's Crime from the yard counts as a cast trigger to activate Myth Realized here. I also have this question, so we will find out shortly.
Yeah, so the answer is certainly yes.
Certainly yes.
Retracing a card is
casting
it. No, it doesn't make a copy. If it made a copy,
then it wouldn't.
Then it would not be cast. But that's not what retrace does. Retrace is just casting it again. So yeah, that's certainly going to trigger.
And the judge agrees with you. I should have trusted you. You are a former judge.
That's right. I think Luke must be a little new to this deck, because that seems like sort of a crucial interaction.
Yeah, an interaction you wouldn't want to
forget about.
All right, so here we see a Smallpox. This is going to do quite a bit on this board. It's going to make Jason sacrifice both a land, his Tarmogoyf, and discard his last card.
Yeah, so he's going to be taking 3 life a turn here from this Shrieking Affliction now that he's empty-handed.
On top of the potential for getting beaten down by Myth Realized.
Yeah, so Shrieking Affliction triggers on your opponent's upkeep, so they don't even get to draw their card. So Jason is going to take the 3 life here, and even if he holds on to this card in his hand, that still won't be enough. And if he holds on to his card twice in a row,
that's still not enough.
That is enough because it's only I think Shrieking Affliction is 1 or fewer.
1 or fewer.
But if Luke has any top deck, like a land even, because he can now retrace Raven's Crime again, Jason's going to be flat broke.
Yeah, with the way this game's been going, I mean, the matchup just looks really difficult for Jason.
Yeah, these rack decks are really good against strategies that do not go wide.
Right,
and that is because Smallpox is an ingenious answer for a single Death Shadow.
So I think Luke drew a second
double
Shrieking Affliction. I think he's just that. Yeah,
that's brutal. Yeah,
Jason's gonna scoop him up. I mean, the Myth Realized would have done at least 5 damage to him, and then.
Well, Luke Borgie, the bourgeois monkey. Luke is doing very well with this. I guess this deck is kind of a meta call.
Yeah, it does seem really taxing on the Death Shadow decks. I'm not sure how good it is against some other things like. I mean, Counters Company can go pretty wide. Any number of wider creature strategies can kind of overwhelm the rack. Yeah,
Luke does not want to see decks that go wide and operate on few lands. And so, for example, interestingly, the 8 rack deck really gets beat up by something like 8 whack.
8 whack, yes, goblins, because they're dumping their hand anyway, but their hand's killing you.
Yeah,
so.
their hand is going to kill Luke much faster than he can deal with, and his Smallpox is not going to do anything.
Right.
Luke also doesn't want to see decks that are prone to running Obstinate Baloths or Loxodon Smiters.
Any sort of life gain.
Those cards can be a beating. with the discard effects. So
I wonder if Jason has one of those in his side. Well, not the Smiter, but he could have an obstinate Baloth in his sideboard. Not sure how heavy he is on green. Usually that's the Death Shadowless play green for access to traverse, which lets them search for the Death Shadows. But
yeah, gaining 4 life for Jason seems a little contrary to his game plan, and 4 mana seems like a little bit much. So I doubt we'd see a Baloth. I wonder what Jason does have. He'll certainly have some sort of enchantment artifact removal. Because I'm sure Jason
get rid of the racks.
Yeah, I'm sure that Jason knows that even though he didn't see the rack, he knows his opponent has probably Shrieking Affliction and the rack. And Jason probably also knows that Luke might have Ensnaring Bridge.
Right.
So I would say we almost certainly see that Nature's Claim come in or whatever Jason has. And then I would also guess that we're going to see some sort of Graveyard Hate. Because against Luke, it's not only relevant for Lingering Souls. We know that Jason probably knows that Luke has Lingering Souls since he saw the Godless Shrines.
Sure.
But he might not. But even if he didn't, that Graveyard Hate is going to do wonders against this Retrace Raven's Crime plan. So Graveyard Hate seems big. For Luke, I don't know. If he has some more paths in the sideboard, could bring those in.
He might have Fatal Push.
Sure. The problem with path here is that you actually give your opponent a land.
That's true.
And that is a little bit contrary to your game plan.
When you're trying to deprive your opponent of resources as much as possible. Just a quick interjection here before we move on to game 2. If you guys seen in the chat, if you're liking the content, be sure to check out our Patreon page. You can subscribe for however much you want each month, and it'll really help the content grow and become better. So. Yeah,
I actually just I became a donor to the Patreon just last week. It's a great way to stay involved and keep keep supporting this content. If you find yourself on Tuesdays or Thursdays or Wednesdays or Fridays or whenever watching the stream. So yeah, it's and it's not hard to get involved. And there is an awards or a rewards program, I guess.
That's cool. I was not aware of that.
Yeah. You can get some packs. You can do a draft. But yeah, Top Deck will send you varying prize pools based on your contributions. So yeah, I just became a donor last week.
I may have to myself.
Yeah, and you can do a one-time or a sustaining membership kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's pretty easy. I'm intending not to even look at my donation until 12 months from now, when I'm reminded, oh, you've been paying for that for 12 months.
It looks like Jason here has reconsidered his sideboard after pile shuffling his deck. And after the first sideboard, he is now taking out an additional card. Something he didn't like, something he forgot about maybe.
Yeah, I wonder what that could be.
Maybe he didn't bring in an answer to Myth Realized.
Yeah, maybe he forgot the Nature's Claim. If we don't know if Jason's got a 4th color yet, do we?
Well, the list says Jund Shadow, but he could of course be splashing blue.
Sure.
Or white for that matter.
Yeah, if he had white, it's unlikely, but Dramoka's Command would be dope here because you can make your opponent sack an enchantment.
Although that does not hit the rack. It just hits the other one.
Does not hit the rack, but it hits Myth Realized and Shrieking Affliction. The unfortunate thing is that your opponent gets to choose whether or not they sack the Myth Realized or the Shrieking Affliction. So I suppose that's not great, but Dramoka's Command seems like kind of a good fit if the deck actually does have white, because your burn matchup is also kind of iffy sometimes.
That's true.
It can be good, but it can also be really tough, and Dramoka's Command is obviously a good card there. Especially once you're already at low life. You don't need to gain life with Dramoka's Command because that would shrink your Death Shadows, but that's not what Dramoka's Command does. It just prevents the damage from an instant or sorcery. Right. But usually if Jason is running a 4th color, that white would, I think, almost exclusively be for Lingering Souls.
And wow, in a very unusual turn of events, it seems that Jason actually opted to take the draw here on this matchup. So that will get him an extra card in hand, which may come down to him not losing the life.
Yeah, I think that's relevant, and I think sometimes these rack decks choose to be on the draw as well,
right?
To give their opponents fewer cards.
I think it takes a veteran player to make a decision like that. Really, like if I was new to Modern and playing against this deck, I don't even think I would consider such a thing. You always just want to say, okay, I'm on the play. This is a great advantage for me. But I mean, really, in this matchup, it does make some sense to take the draw.
Now, I will say I think it's maybe a moot point and probably something that requires a lot of good data to actually declare that is the right call.
Sure.
Because it's almost it's almost semantics, right? Jason, by the time he takes his, or by the time his opponent takes his first turn, it will have equalized, you know, and so if Jason's on the draw now, he'll get 8 cards, right?
Sure.
But if he was on the play, he would have 8 cards by the time his opponent took his first turn. So it's not necessarily. It makes sense, and I think it maybe is the right call, but you'd really have to, I think, you know, play it out over a large number of games to see if it actually helps
to get the real statistics. So I see that Jason has a Nile Spellbomb in his hand, which probably is a sideboard consideration. It's got some other artifacts.
Nile Spellbomb is
Caligon's
going
Command,
to try to deal with
and some lands.
Nile Spellbomb will try to deal with those Ravens crimes. And maybe it'll linger.
Looks like Luke is maybe eager to remove this here, or he just doesn't know what it is, and when he reads it, oh no, he's just gonna take Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, he'll take the Goyf. You know, if Jason doesn't have a clock,
right, or another threat,
the rack will just kill you.
Yeah, that's true. So Jason's gonna draw for the turn. His first draw, which he opted to take, in lieu of potentially Thoughtseizing on turn 1.
Now, Colgan's Command is nice because you can get a guy back from the yard.
Right, and you can destroy an artifact like the rack.
And destroy the artifact. So that's a pretty big deal here. Whose library do you think Jason's going to look on top of?
Well, he doesn't have a fetch land. So first, you know, I think if I was him after the Thoughtseize, I'd probably look at Luke's library so I have full information about the hand.
Yeah.
But if he's feeling cheeky, he could just look at his own.
Oh, Liliana of the Veil, but no lands to cast it.
Yeah.
So he can cast a Rack and a Raven's Crime.
He cannot do anything else.
Yeah, but the problem with that Raven's Crime that Luke is sitting on is he needs to play any top deck lands he has.
He's gonna need to use his lands instead of retracing.
And even it's an additional problem, right? Luke's hand's actually very awkward because he doesn't want to cast a Smallpox either. Because once he gets to 2 mana,
that's true. He doesn't want to lose.
He doesn't want to go back down to 1
because
then he's never casting the Liliana of the Veil. So this is incredibly awkward for Luke.
Luke did take a mulligan to 6, so he probably just saw a playable,
somewhat
playable.
I'm actually very, very surprised that Jason is going to take Liliana there because there's almost there is no hope in sight of Luke being able to cast that. But I suppose taking the Raven's Crime does nothing.
Right. He has the answer to the rack.
He has the Colgan's Command for the rack. The Smallpox, though, I feel like you want to take the Smallpox.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, the Smallpox is bad for both of them. So maybe he just doesn't care about that. And at this point, he doesn't even have a creature. So Luke did deploy the rack there and also made Jason discard a card with the Raven's Crime, which Jason discarded a Tarfire, greatly increasing his delirium count here.
Yeah, if he had a Goyf, he could.
It would be quite large.
I think we see Jason fire off this Nile Spellbomb right now to deal with the Raven's Crime and to draw a card. What do you think?
Yeah, that seems like a good line. Unless, I mean, Jason doesn't really want to play a creature here because it's just going to get sacrificed to Smallpox. So, not knowing what else is in his hand, it seems like Nile Spellbomb is probably the best play. Let's see if he follows. Looks like that is the line.
So we'll see it come down. I guess he could crack it on his opponent's upkeep before he can Raven's Crime.
Is the rack a symmetric effect?
No. That would be bad news bears.
Yeah, I suppose you'd be killing yourself.
That would make the deck very difficult to navigate.
Right.
You would want to, instead of Myth Realized, you would want to have like a Nyx Fleece Ram or something.
Peace of Mind. 2-mana enchantment, white mana, discard a card, gain 3 life.
That seems okay. I was thinking Trading Post.
Okay, well that's kind of big though.
You're kind of big.
So yes, Jason did crack the Nile Spellbomb. They're getting rid of anything. In
getting
Luke's
rid of the
graveyard.
Raven's Crime is a big deal. That's the kind of card that.
It does look like, it does look that Luke did not draw a land for the turn though, since he didn't play his 3rd land drop. Maybe another Smallpox. Jason is going to traverse here. He does, of course, have Delirium. He's probably got at least 6 card types in the yard.
I think he's going to get a Tarmogoyf because he doesn't want to tank his life total to be able to play a Death Shadow. So I think we see a Tarmogoyf.
Oh, goes for the land? Okay, that's fair. So
yeah, I think
Jason,
that's fair.
Jason likely has a 3-drop in hand, probably another Liliana. Although I'd be surprised if he left too many Lilianas in. So maybe he just wants the red source for Kolagons as well.
Yeah, that could be. I'm a little bit caught off guard by the polluted deltas. Oh, there's a Snapcaster. So Jason is playing blue as a 4th color.
Oh yes, we did see that. Okay.
I saw the polluted delta last game and I didn't think about it, but
yeah,
there's
right,
the Snapcaster. So it's not just a lone fetch there. He's actually playing blue.
So we have our first moist junk player here.
Yeah,
moist
the moist jund, not quite as comical as the moist junk. Or inappropriate. I still don't think we can say moist junk on stream. We shouldn't be saying that. But moist jund, yes, that's what it is.
Oof. I saw Teamer Battle Rage in Jason's hand as well.
Yeah, that can help him close out the game.
Yeah. So when he's winning big. At this rate, although he still does not have a threat.
So Jason shocked in the stomping ground. Is he
probably to lose life for us for some Death Shadow? Oh yes, that is true. He's not able to get such a card off Polluted Delta. It's neither a swamp nor an island.
Oh.
Good call out in the chat there.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody caught that and we're having a judge called over.
Yeah, that's a real wow. Yeah, we were talking about both those things and we didn't even notice.
Yeah, so
we are not. Thank God we're not judges.
That's true. So it would seem that Jason probably doesn't have a Blood Crypt or Steam Vents in his deck.
Well, I think he does. I think he
just wanted second green, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder what happens. We'll see how the judge resolves this. He has been called over.
I assume they're just going to rewind and make Jason get a different land.
Sure.
Yeah. But I still don't know why Jason chose to get the land untapped. I mean, if he has Death Shadow, that makes a little bit of sense.
Sure.
But you don't want to tank your life. I thought it would have been better for him to just get a Tarmogoyf with the Traverse and then play it for 2 mana.
He does have to get a different land here. He does have Blood Crypt, luckily for him. Still looks like it's coming in untapped. Well, it would have had to came in untapped, of course, because he couldn't have went back to change that. Luke still has not done much, so whatever is in his hand might be interaction. He obviously doesn't want to cast the Smallpox yet, as there's no creature. I think I may have seen a Fatal Push in his hand. I couldn't be certain. It was a brief glimpse, but... So Jason opted 4 mana, and at this point, Smallpox becomes a bit less taxing when you have an ample amount of lands.
Sure. So Teamer Battle Rage, Death Shadow, Kolaghan's Command.
And whatever this last card.
One other
Jason's
card.
shuffling in his hand. Can't quite tell yet. So he would be able to deploy a Death Shadow this turn if he decides to lower his life total with the fetch land. At most, it could only be a 3/3, so instead he's just going to pass the turn. So Luke does have Fatal Push in hand.
Yeah, so to answer the chat's question, I spoke to Luke briefly before the game. So the white, yes, is for Lingering Souls, but it's also for Path to Exile, Anguished Unmaking, Myth Realized.
Yeah, as we saw game 1.
And Disenchant.
Disenchant effect, sure.
There are possibly some others I don't know about. But yeah, Lingering Souls is definitely one of them, but we haven't seen it yet.
So Luke did get his 3rd land drop here. It was a Marsh Flats. She's going to fetch up something. Good to take a quick peek through Luke's. Nope, not quite. We did see some Lilianas in there, but nothing too substantial.
So I think Jason's going to Kolaghan's Command, take this rack out, get his Tarmogoyf back.
Sure.
That seems like the play. That seems like a clear path to victory here.
So Luke is getting his land untapped. He's just going to... What? Okay, he just...
So I think we'll see Jason flow to black and sack this swamp.
Sure. Oh, so Luke allowed said cast Smallpox, I thought, but he just said something about Smallpox and then passed the turn. He didn't actually make any plays, it seems. So Jason is going to fire off the Kolaghan's Command, doing exactly what you said. Got Tarmogoyf, destroyed the rack.
Yep, seems good. Inquisition is good off the top, too. He can actually make him discard Smallpox now.
Yeah.
And then play his Goyf out. I think Luke's in trouble.
Yeah, doesn't have any taxing effect, so Luke is going to, in response, just gain some... Going to make Jason gain life with Blessed Alliance. How about that play?
Yeah, that's... you gotta play to your outs, but that doesn't seem super great given that... Oh, well, I guess... So, So that's interesting. Luke uses the Blessed Alliance to take out a Death Shadow play.
Essentially, sure.
And Luke knows that Jason has Tarmogoyf, but whichever option Jason takes here, Luke still has an answer for Tarmogoyf.
Of course, this does run him out of resources, though.
Yes. Yeah.
So Jason's just going to run out the Tarmogoyf, all right.
And I think we'll just see Luke Fatal Push it right now.
No, the Fatal Push got discarded. He was left with
okay.
Smallpox.
Okay, so he left the Smallpox. Okay.
Right.
Well, if Jason has another... He doesn't have another discard, does he? Because he top-decked that Inquisition.
Yeah, I think Jason's hand is Death Shadow and Temur Battle Rage.
Yeah.
Potentially one other card. So Goyf currently pretty big, 5/6. But it's likely to get sacrificed to Smallpox here. Oh, and luckily for Luke, he was able to use all his mana this turn and deploy... What is that enchantment called? Similar to the rack.
Shrieking Affliction.
Shrieking Affliction,
Yeah,
okay.
I used to play that card back in the day.
Did you? What were you running?
I played it with Treacherous Pit Dweller and Demon Lord of Ashmouth.
I certainly don't know what any of those cards are.
Yeah, and I ran it. I also ran it with Scroll of Grizzlebrand. Scroll of Grizzlebrand's a 1-drop artifact. You can sacrifice it, and if you control it, so you sacrifice it, and your opponent discards a card, and if you control a demon, they lose I think 3 or 5 life.
I've seen the counterpart to that, the Scroll of Avacyn.
Yeah, that card's bad, but Scroll of Grizzlebrand's pretty good.
Okay.
I think I was also playing maybe Liliana's Caress or something.
Right, that's a similar card. Whenever your opponent discards a card, they lose 2 life.
Yep.
So Jason's just going to pass the turn. He's still not able to play a Death Shadows. His life total is only 13, and he's going to get... Is that another Smallpox?
That's a Wrench Mind, actually.
A Wrench Mind.
Wrench Mind says it's black. It's basically just a 2-mana Mind Rot.
Your opponent discards 2 cards.
Yeah, they discard 2 cards unless they discard an artifact. And, of course, Jason doesn't have any artifacts except for Mishra's Bauble.
So I believe Jason's life total must be incorrect here if he just played this Death Shadow, and it's still in play.
Yeah, I think we might have missed. Yeah, a Fetch Shock. Yeah, he's at 10. So that's a 3/3.
Right. not usual to just play your Death Shadow to the death.
So he lost one. He lost 3 from Shrieking Affliction, and now he lost 3 more.
Okay. Right.
So what's funny is that these Shrieking Afflictions are actually going to make Jason's threat
Death Shadow larger and larger.
So because if he goes down to 4, it'll be a 9/9. But if he goes down to 1, it'll be a 13/13. So Luke is running out of time, but if he does have an answer for this Death Shadow, Jason could very easily die.
Jason's got to be careful about cracking this fetch, right?
Yeah, he does.
If he goes down to 6 instead of 7, it's going to change the clock from Shrieking Affliction.
If Luke just sets down a second Shrieking Affliction,
he just dies on the spot.
I don't think Jason can afford to crack this.
Although, okay, so he's going to traverse for something. Sure. See what he gets.
Maybe we'll see a
second fetch. Oh, he's going for the kill. Yeah.
I guess you gotta.
You fetch. You get 2 shocks.
Yeah, make your opponent have it. He doesn't know what's in Luke's hand, right?
Neither do we. Do we?
I don't think anyone knows. I think only Luke. That's only
Luke knows.
Yeah.
Private information.
Well, this is ballsy on Jason's part.
They did not have the removal, so yeah,
you got to make him have it. That's
right.
That's how you play.
And yeah,
definitely a courageous play by Jason. But hey, you're gonna win the game.
I really like that Blessed Alliance though play from Luke, making Jason gain 4 life.
Yeah, I like
such a unique way to use the card, and really was good in that spot.
This is an exciting matchup.
Yeah, really.
This is very interesting.
And you know the play draw difference is big, but it actually it may have impacted that game.
So let's see if Luke chooses to be on the
draw for himself.
Again, I'm not sure I'm not sure that's actually right. I think it sounds like a good idea, but again, remember, by the time the other player takes their first turn, things are once again symmetrical.
Right. And being on the draw against a deck like Death Shadow that has so much discard is also kind of a liability.
Right. Being on the draw has all the same downsides it usually does. You're just up a card, but you only have you don't have any more cards than your opponent would have had.
Right.
I'm not saying that in a good way, but you know, if like when Jason chose to be
sorry, looks like we're having some audio issues here.
When
You're
Jason
back. Okay,
Jason chose to be on the draw last turn, he had the same number of cards he would have had by the time his opponent took his first turn. So it's I don't know how much it matters.
Yeah, as someone in the chat noted, you're right. If Jason didn't discard the Temur Battle Rage, he could have killed Luke a bit easier there. But we don't know what else was in Jason's hand, and maybe he was playing for a more long game in case his Death Shadow got removed.
Well, but if his Death Shadow got removed there,
I guess he was probably
just lost
dead.
to the Shrieking
That's
Affliction.
true.
So
It might have been correct just
yeah.
to keep Temur Battle Rage and play a bit safer.
So yeah, Jason full of courage going into this game 3. Let's see how it works out for him.
Both players did reconsider their sideboards.
Yeah,
so
what do we think Luke has? I assume the Lingering Souls would be in the main board,
Right.
but maybe not.
I mean, the Blessed Alliance was almost certainly out of the side.
Oh yeah, sure. The Blessed Alliance is out of the side. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you know what? I don't think Jason kept a land in hand. I think he kept Traverse, maybe, because didn't he Traverse for a land there? So Luke did opt to be on the draw. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see if that pays off for him, or if he gets his only threat stripped away by Inquisition.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm not. Again, I don't think anyone without extensive.
Right. I wish we knew some expert rack player.
Yeah,
that
you
that
need some serious.
That had the stats.
Yeah, you need some serious data mining to actually figure out. I think what the correct option is.
Sure.
Anecdotally, you can talk about whichever way, but I think they're talking about it right now a little bit. Luke's talking about his keen meta call.
Okay. Yeah. With the Death Shadow.
With Death Shadow being so popular, you want to be playing these Shrieking Afflictions, I guess.
That's true.
Now, interestingly, Jason has Abrupt Decay, or he should have Abrupt Decay if he's actually playing Jund Death Shadow. And Abrupt Decay absolutely destroys this rack deck. I mean, it kills everything. Every threat. Kills the Mithrilize, kills the rack, kills the Shrieking Affliction.
Kills Liliana.
It
does not kill Lingering. Well, it does kill Lingering Souls, half of it.
It kills a soul. But no, I think this. Abrupt Decay is a huge card here, and Jason hasn't seen one yet, so it's just such a versatile answer. But that Kolaghan's command last game too was very good. Being able to get his Tarmogoyf back and destroy the rack.
A lot of value there. So Luke's hand, if he has 2 lands, this looks good. He does
got
have Lingering Souls, finally.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a rack, at least 1 land.
This is a risky keep if it's only 1 land, though. No, he's going for it. All right. Jason, however, is gonna mulligan to 6.
Yeah, so Jason had a Kolaghan's command and I think a lot of lands. Is that what I saw?
Yeah, he probably didn't have too much action if he's going to 6. Because Kolaghan's command, as we saw, one of the best cards he can have. But if he doesn't have anything else, of course, that can't do it on its own.
Yeah, going to 6 here is pretty bad.
Right, yeah. Mulliganing, I didn't even think about this. Mulliganing feels pretty bad against the right deck.
Obviously, you don't ever want to mulligan too much, but in this matchup, that's brutal. So we'll see if Jason can get a good 6 here. I'm not even sure what a good 6 would be.
Yeah,
I think you want to have 2 or 3 lands for Kolaghan's.
This looks like a good 6.
Oh yeah, sure.
2 lands,
Abrupt
Nile
Decay,
Spellbomb,
Inquisition, Nile Spellbomb,
yeah.
Stomping Ground, Liliana. Ooh, do you have Stomping Ground, Verdant Catacombs?
I think he has Stomping Ground, Blood Crypt.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Stomping Ground, Blood Crypt, Abrupt Decay, Nile Spellbomb,
Inquisition,
Liliana.
Lily the Last Hope.
That's a pretty good hand.
So somebody in the chat says that some veteran rack players agree to be on the draw. So maybe it is just better.
They agree it's better to be on the draw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I know I sound like a what's the word I'm looking for?
Broken record.
A broken record.
There you go.
But I hate to be a broken record beating a dead horse, whatever that metaphor means. But I really think by the time if you choose to be the person with 8 cards, you would have had 8 cards at the same stage in the game when your opponent's taken their first turn. So I can't see how much it really changes anything except for the fact that your discard becomes better and your opponent's discard, or your discard becomes worse and your opponent's discard becomes better. But I'm sure you guys are right, but
so Luke kept a surprisingly land-heavy hand this game. He had at least 4 lands in his opener.
Well, if he finds a Raven's Crime,
That's
his
true.
hand
He
is
can
discard
put it
heavy.
to good use. So he's going to deploy the rack on turn 1. Not going to do much quite yet. But
I think the Lingering Souls is good enough to just keep on its own here.
Sure.
That card is, as Jason's life total gets lower and lower, especially with his rack in play, Lingering Souls can close out the game pretty well and also block effectively. So I think it's a fine keep from Luke. But yeah, we do know Jason has this Abrupt Decay just waiting to pounce on this rack as soon as it becomes a problem.
The art on the rack is one of the strangest arts to me.
Yeah, well,
it is something on a rack. Is that a gingerbread man?
Yeah, it's like one
A
of those
teddy bear?
You watch Game of Thrones?
I do.
It's like that there's that kid that makes the loaves of wolf bread.
Oh, sure.
It's like a loaf of people bread.
Yes. So maybe not gingerbread, but similar.
Yeah, just people bread.
Okay.
But no, there's actually a new art of the rack that looks more like a torture device.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
It's like this neat looking table. I think it's from like some sort of promotional item, but it's very cool looking.
I don't think the rack saw a Masterpiece printing, unfortunately.
No, Black Vise did though.
Black Vice, yes, which is similar to the rack, I believe, but is it modern legal or no?
No,
Okay.
it's not.
The legacy rack.
I wish it was. Yeah, that'd be dope.
So we'll see if Luke has any play here on turn 2. Jason did drop his Nile Spellbomb, which of course can just sit there until he finds need to get rid of the graveyard, such as to exile the Lingering Souls.
Yeah, so even if Luke had the Raven's Crime, it wouldn't be great here for his lands because of the Nile Spellbomb. But
so another advantage, I guess, of having a land-heavy hand too is that the small box doesn't hurt you as badly because, of course, you have more lands to play.
Sure.
If you have to sacrifice one. So it looks like Jason is going to respond by popping his Spellbomb. Draws an extra card. He found a Street Wraith, which he could cycle for an extra card, or he could just discard it. He's going to do that. Brings his life total to 14.
14 all, I think, is what we're at. So.
And he I'm not sure what he drew there off the Street Wraith cycle. So Jason might be hard pressed for lands here. He's going to go down to 1 land, and I don't think he found another land through that little sequence he did.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough having to pop that spell bomb when you know that you're popping that spell bomb when you know your opponent has Lingering Souls probably feels bad. But I think he had to do it to try to find more lands. I mean, you got to draw that card.
Sorry, Mark's having some mic issues here. It appears the connection is not quite stable. If he cuts out.
Yeah, I apologize, everyone. I'm an unstable mutation. Anybody? The 1-drop blue enchantment?
That's great.
Unstable Mutation actually just had a functional reprint in a color shifted. Yeah.
The red, yes, from Amonkhet.
Yeah.
So Jason did not find another land. That is not looking great for him. He's got some answers in hand, but he might not be able to deploy them.
Yep, that's the power of Smallpox. Smallpox really punishes this deck for trying to get away with playing.
Right, with few lands.
Yeah, trying to get, what is Jason playing? Probably 17 or 18?
Yeah, something around that.
So Smallpox is a beating. Now, fortunately for Jason, he gets to sit here and
do nothing but not die.
Yeah, not play any cards, which can actually help him survive.
Still did not find a land.
It looks like he's got a Tarmogoyf.
He's gonna go with the Inquisition here. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
I would take that Smallpox in a heartbeat. Yep.
Interesting that Luke decided to play his Affliction there instead of the Smallpox.
Yeah, well, I think he doesn't want to lose his land because he needs to get get to this Lingering Souls as quick as possible. So
which the 8 of the fast land there off the top.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd see the fast land, but that makes a lot of sense.
It does, yeah. He's got multiple colors he might want on turn 1, so that's a.
Yeah, what do you want the white on turn 1 for? Just Myth Realized?
Right, Myth Realized. Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
I guess you could path somebody on turn 1, but that seems really bad for this deck, given that you're trying to Smallpox them.
Unless it's like a Mana Dork you need to get rid of or something.
Well, I don't think you want to path the Mana Dork. You might path the Goblin Guide, though.
Okay, that's fair. You're right, pathing a Mana Dork, not the most practical line.
Well, maybe
spirits are getting in there. Jason not able to find a second land, and this could quickly be over.
I guess if you're gonna path a Mana Dork, it better be like a Deathrite Shaman.
Sure.
But otherwise,
if those viewing can't tell, Mark is the more seasoned modern player. I'm pretty new to the format. I typically play Standard, but
this Mario guy plays Standard, which is really silly. No, I'm just kidding. He's a great Standard player, and Standard's actually a pretty cool format right now.
It is. It has gotten quite a bit better.
Yeah, Mario actually plays green-blue tempo in Standard, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that sounds atrocious. It's actually not. He plays a bunch of Mausoleum Wanderers.
Yeah,
and
it's basically a Spirit Flash tempo.
Yeah,
deck.
it's got those Flash Spirit Wolves. It's a very flavorful deck, honestly. But you tempo the crap out of zombies.
Yeah,
and they just can't deal with the flyers. I've watched Mario play this deck to great effect. So
unfortunately for Jason, never got to a second land after that smallpox and just got beat out of the game.
That's punished.
Yeah.
I mean, not punished. I mean, Jason was on a mold of 6, and his keep was great. I mean, he had 2 lands.
Right.
He had 2 lands, Abrupt Decay.
But the rack looking good in the meta.
Yeah.
Landlight deck does a lot of damage to itself. You don't need much to lock it out. And
no.
Yeah, Jason is not too happy about
Jason's
the lack
a little
of land.
frustrated about. Yeah, and I thought having that Street Wraith at the top was going to be good.
Right, but he just couldn't find the land.
But
yeah, Viana, I am considering playing the new blue-green Aftermath card coming out in an hour. We'll have to see. The deck likes to play a lot of stuff at instant speed, so having a 1-mana Scry 3 at sorcery is not maybe not great, but it could be used.
So I did want to say Mario's thinking about playing that new blue-white.
It's not new.
Split card. What is it? What is
it's
it called?
Old. It's called Failure to Comply.
Mario thinks
it's a terrible card.
He thinks that Failure to Comply is going to be better in this deck than Selfless Spirit because he says he can Failure to Comply his opponent's Fumigates.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, Mario, that sounds crazy. Why wouldn't you just play Selfless Spirit in the Bant Spirit deck? But he says, no, man, Failure to Comply is going to be good. And for now, I believe him because he's such a seasoned expert with this Spirit strategy and Standard. But I'm very skeptical.
Look, when you're playing tempo, you like to bounce things to your opponent's hand.
But Failure to Comply is just such an inherently bad card. or I should say bad cards.
We'll see.
It's 2 terrible cards.
2 terrible cards
stapled to
stacked
each
onto
other.
one. Yeah, it's up for consideration. But as for our match here, so yeah, Luke takes this game 2-1 with the white-black 8-rack deck. We got about 10 minutes left here in round 1, so we'll be back then.
Oh, and I just want to remind everybody again about the Patreon you see in chat here. A very easy way to get involved supporting the stream if you find yourself relying on our wonderful commentary and streaming.
And
it's very easy to get involved, really. I just signed up last week. I think I'm doing $10 a month. And it's just a nice, simple way to help out and keep the stream going. So.
And as you said earlier, you do get some rewards, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. They I think Top Deck will mail out packs and sealed product. I think invite you to do maybe drafts with a group of friends. I didn't look at all the prize, the rewards program, but check it out. The link is in the chat there. So. We'll be back for round 2, hopefully in no more than maybe 10, 15 minutes. As you can see, the game clock was winding down. I didn't expect that match to go so long.
That's true. It was a long one.
All right. Well, we'll see you in a bit.
Stay tuned, guys. Thanks.